left off the land with my parents, my grandparents, and uncles, and aunties. And they taught me a lot. And I was chosen by my people to come down here and talk about a very important issue concerning the porcupine caribou herd. And before I came down, I talked to a lot of youths and elders. And when I was talking with the youth, I went up to a 9-year-old and I asked him, why is it important that the oil companies do not drill in the calving ground? And that 9-year-old said, well, if we lose a caribou, if the caribou dies off, we would die off. And that's true, because everything we live for and live off the land for is for the caribou. My brother, he's 12 years old, and he is becoming a good hunter. As I go to school in Whitehorse, he takes care of my family. He's fed my dad, my mom and my brother for the past year, because he goes out and hunts caribou. He skins it and takes care of it. And he said to me before I came down, you know, you're going down to speak for us. And he said, when you're down there, just be strong and speak from the heart. And so that's what I'm doing right now. And this is the first time I've spoken to this much people, and I'm kind of nervous. And when I spoke to the elders, one of the elders told me, I am glad to see a young person like you going down to a nation that you've never seen before, travel across it and speak on something very important to the Cochin people. He said, I went to him for strength, for his prayers to help me down here, and to be strong. And he told me he was glad to see me come down here to fight for something that's important, to fight for my people. And he said, remember that we are strong and proud people, and that you'll never be ashamed of who you are and where you come from, or what you do. Remember that when you feel like you want to give up and come back home, just remember your people and be strong. That's what he told me. And he said, you will be in my heart when you're down there, and you will be in my prayers. My Auntie Norma there has also told me that before I came down here. To be strong, be proud of who I am, where I come from. As I grew up in Old Crow, I've watched my Auntie Norma, Lenny Kohm, come down here and speak for the people. To them, they are a big help to our people, because they come down here and talk. Before I came down, I thought about them because they were my inspiration to come down here and speak to you people and to many other people across this nation. And these are two people I look up to the most, because they do something that's important for me and the other youth from where I come from, and for children of tomorrow, like children that are not here yet. So they have taught me a lot. They have spoken a lot to a lot of people. And these two are people I look up to. Thank you.
So here we are, Colorado. Next week we'll be in South Carolina. Week after that we'll be in Virginia. Week after that we'll be in Kentucky. Week after that we'll be in Indiana. Week after that we'll be in North Dakota. Week after that we'll be in Oregon, Pennsylvania. We've got a lot of ground to cover. We need a lot of help. But let me ask you a question. How many of you think that the coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in Alaska is a vast wasteland? How many of you think that we should turn over the oil companies? How many of you think that we should protect it forever as wilderness? I have a harder question. How many of you are willing to do something about it? Well, we're going to be here the whole time, and we'll talk about what we can do. But let me tell you what's happening. This Congress that we have just elected, this fiscally responsible Congress, there is a title in the budget resolution. You've all heard him yelling about the budget, right? We're going to save money, we're going to cut the deficit, we're going to do all that. There's a title in this budget resolution that proposes to lease for oil and gas development the coastal plain of the Arctic Refuge, the last complete ecosystem in America, the biological heart of the last complete ecosystem, for $1.4 billion over 5 years. $1.4 billion. A herd of 165,000 caribou, bears, birds, and 7,000 of my friends over my dead body. Senator Campbell of Colorado, when he was elected, when he was running for Senate, he sent out a letter to all the environmentalists in Colorado, and he listed this litany of everything he was going to do for the environment if he were just elected to Senate. He said that he would strengthen the Endangered Species Act, he would strengthen the Clean Water Act, he would strengthen the Clean Air Act, he would reintroduce the Colorado Wilderness Bill, and that he would work to protect the coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. 3 weeks ago, he voted against us. This is a new Congress. This is a fiscally responsible Congress. Well, maybe we thought we were going to take America back, but I think we have to realize we never lost it. It's ours. Last November, I was in Old Crow, and I'm going to talk about what we should do for a minute, but I want to go into more detail with you. When you see me around, come up to me, and if any of you are really interested in this issue, come up to me and we'll figure out something to do. Because I'm just like you. You can do what I've done. You can do better. Because you're smarter and you're younger, and you can do better. You can do more. But certainly write the president, because he's promised to protect it. Make sure he keeps that promise. But I want to just leave you with one thought. And then after, we're going to take a little break, and then I do want to introduce you to, after that, to a really special friend of all of ours. But last November, I was in Old Crow, and I was at Randall and Mabel Tetlichi, Vincent's dad and mom, run a healing camp up in the mountain behind Old Crow. It's an incredibly beautiful place. And they bring native kids from all over Western Canada who have either substance abuse problems or behavioral problems, to this traditional healing camp, and they live off, they live off the land and are healed in that way by following their traditional lifestyle, the way it was hundreds of years ago. And they do an incredible job, and they live in a beautiful place. And I was up there last November, end of October, beginning of November, and the caribou were late that year. And it had just snowed the day before. It was about 6 inches of snow on the ground. And Randall and I were standing outside talking, and it was crystal clear, like it is here today. And all of a sudden, this snow machine went by with a hunter on the back. And then a couple of minutes later, another one went by. And then groups of 2 or 3 started to go. And then little boys started running up the hill, carrying sticks, pretending like they were hunters. And then somebody stopped and said that they'd seen caribou on the mountain, and it was the first caribou of the southern migration in the fall. And the whole village came alive. You could feel it, even though it was a mile away. You could feel the whole village just come alive. And pretty soon the women were coming out, followed by the little girls, and they were putting up drying racks in preparation for what the hunters were going to bring down from the mountain. And I stood there and I looked at that, and I realized, I'm a lucky man. Because what I was seeing had been happening for thousands of years. And I also realized that if we work hard and do our job right, that 1,000 years from now, that'll still be happening. And we won't even remember that we had to talk about it today. That's my dream. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Oh, I loved it. That was just incredible. I'd love for him to come to my school and speak and inform others in Cincinnati about it.
How do you,
more interested.
kind of, what did he talk about? Who was it and what did he talk about?
It was,
Lenny Kohm?
No, yeah, Lenny. And he talked about the African, I'm sorry, I'm thinking all day.
That's cool.
It was Alaskan National Refuge, and it was the northern part of, northeastern part of Alaska, partly over Canada, and how some of the oil companies wanted to put oil drills in the 1002 part of the refuge, and how the tribes did not want it and things like that.
So tell me again what you thought of the whole presentation?
It was incredible. It's totally changed my outlook on the whole area up there. I heard the same thing about being barren, but I agree nothing with that now. I don't agree with that at all.
Alright, thanks a lot, Alex. That was good. Okay. So what did you think of Lenny's presentation?
I thought it was really interesting and informative because we don't learn too much about Alaska and, and history and stuff like that. So it was neat to learn more about that, and hopefully I can bring that back to my community and have my geography teacher teach more about that so more students learn about it.
How did the whole thing make you feel?
I want it to be reserved as, to preserve the area and stuff like that, to keep it, so that oil and the oil rigs and stuff like that don't come in there, because that's really important to keep that. So.
What did you think of Rashmi's thing yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Remember his?
What was that about?
He was the Indian guy who talked about like a lot of serious shit going on.
I don't even remember.
He was talking about
The guy that had to leave right away.
Yeah, but I can't remember what he talked about.
Well, he had his book, the UN.
I don't remember that one.
The UN guy who.
You remember that one? What did you think of Rashmi's?
I'd rather not say I'm Republican. I thought he was extremely radical and
very inspirational.
yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but
So what did you think of what he had to say?
I thought it was very inspirational as well. made you really think about what's actually going on around the world, not just here in the United States, but around the world. I mean, there's so many problems that we have to solve that this is just a small step here to going on around the world globally. There's a lot of good things that positive stuff that's coming out of here that I can use in the future for when I go to college, because I plan on going to an environmental college and using what I learned here to apply it to college. And I plan on being part of groups up there in college to help first start locally and move on to state and then eventually, hopefully, globally.
What do you think about this, Lenny's presentation?
Lenny's a great guy. He's in my team group and just a funny guy, great guy to talk to. I plan on, next, right after this is over with, we have the team group again, and I plan on talking to him about, he said he wanted to talk to people more in depth about what's going on, and I'm really serious about talking about him and
Oh my God.
see if, if I can't do something with him, get more involved with him and maybe travel with him. That'd be great. That'd be very neat.
And where are you from?
Wisconsin too. Wisconsin.
What's your name?
Matt. Okay.
Okay. And just tell me your name and where you're from.
Holly from Wisconsin.
How about you, Alex? Where are you from?
Cincinnati, Ohio. Alex Tapia.
Cool.
And I can't find words